you go. Now I do.
There we go. Let me put this.
Okay, so who's who here?
I'm Amy.
Wendy.
Oh, hi, Amy. Wendy. Oh, I'm sorry. Adam didn't send me a note about you, Wendy. So you're brand new to me.
She's my partner.
Okay, so y'all are partners in this business.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Love to hear that. Well, I just like to talk to people who just went through our training because that's the first impression you have with our company. And as the founder, I'm still involved in dealing with licensees or business owners, we call you now, because you are the people that are going to go out there and set the world on fire. So why don't you just tell me quickly about your background, Amy? Why don't we start with you? What is your background? Why did you think this was a good business to get into?
All right. Well, my husband and I had owned a car wash, convenience store, oil change, and gas station all in one facility, all in one location.
Yeah.
And I helped with that for a while in the bookkeeping and payroll and that kind of thing. And then he passed away, and I kept running it, but I didn't know very much about like the mechanics of the car wash, or I didn't know the other side of the car. I knew the inside and the accounting, but I didn't really know the mechanics and the other part of it. And I gelled with the employees and all that. And then the maintenance person, who I kind of considered my right-hand man, was too sick to work anymore, and he had to quit. And I tried to replace him, and it was really difficult. And then I realized that I'm in a little bit over my head with my knowledge of what I know. And so I talked with my CPA, and we decided it was time to sell it. So we sold it, but I really did enjoy being a business owner, and I liked the flexibility of it. And I didn't really want to work for somebody else at this point in my life. And so I did some franchising research, and I had a franchising broker who helped me do the research, and I told him what I liked and what I didn't like, and I didn't really want a brick and mortar building again. And all the ones that we threw in the hopper, this one just kept coming out the other end as a yes, and so I thought, this is awesome. I think this is for me. I can do this. I like the idea about it. Then I called up my friend Wendy, because she had been in medical billing and coding before. And I said, hey, why don't you come take a look at this? And then I showed her the video from, is it Jason, who does like the first initial?
Demos?
Yes, no, Pettit, Jason Pettit?
Yeah, Jason Pettit, yeah.
Yeah, he sent over a video, and we watched it together. And she was like, wow, that's impressive. And I valued her opinion, because she had been in the field already. And that night we decided to go in 50-50. So here we are.
Great.
Yeah.
So did Jason actually show you a demonstration of the system, the online
Yes.
iClaim,
Yes.
EMRX? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
from both sides, from the provider side and from the from the provider side and from like the biller side.
The administrator.
Yeah.
Right. So you can see, Wendy, that it's pretty user friendly and very, it's very cutting edge. We don't know of anything out there. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I was really impressed, especially where, you're doing real-time eligibility. The doctors can look at all the prescriptions. We got the clearinghouse to just scrub everything right there. I mean, the billing piece is really key, and it's so, this program, you can tell you guys have been doing this for a while, and you've got it perfected, so yeah, it's just so easy. And the charting for the doctors, that is phenomenal. I mean, they don't have to go home. So many of them go home and chart all night long. It's like, why are you doing it? So yeah, there are a lot of neat things I liked about it.
Yeah, they can literally chart on their iPad while they're talking to the patient almost.
Yes.
It's just incredible. And with cloud-based software, of course, they can work from anywhere on any device. They could literally call up their patient records on their iPhone, from the golf course. It doesn't matter. And you guys the same way. We've got licensees who've taken, 3-week trips to Hawaii, and they just work in the hotel. As long as you've got a Wi-Fi connection, you're in business.
Right, and that part I like too is, going through this pandemic, healthcare isn't going away, and it's pandemic proof or recession proof, or it just seems pretty steady.
Yeah, people have learned already that it's okay to use technology like we're using right here to see a doctor. There's even remote patient monitoring that we're introducing to doctors that allows them to use different pieces of equipment that they can issue to the patient so that they, long distance, can monitor that.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Well, so what got you interested, Amy? Was it just because you did see that it was a home type business, that you didn't have to have a brick and mortar? Is that why you were initially interested in it?
Yeah, I think so. And I did, I wasn't sure I wanted to start out with a lot of employees or a product to sell, or, at like a storefront. Food didn't really interest me, a restaurant.
Yeah.
The home care, elderly home care that didn't seem to be a good fit for me. I don't know, I just kind of by, process of elimination, this one just kept coming back to the table. I was a little intimidated by, the idea of how do you get these doctors? How do you get in front of them? How do you, that part obviously was a little bit, I was wondering about, but
Sure.
Cynthia made it pretty, gave us lots of options for the marketing ideas, and, it makes a lot more sense to me now. I'm still a little intimidated about going forward and, that initial first meeting, but, you have to start somewhere anyway. Any place of growth, you have to be a little bit uncomfortable. So that, I know that will change too.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen some of the interviews that I've done with licensees once they've got out and got their business going and they actually have clients. But you remind me of several people that I've talked to in the past that said the very same thing. That's the most scary thing to me, is how do I interact with doctors? And now I've got those licensees are making more money than some of the doctors they work for, so they're not intimidated at this point. They just walk right in.
Right, yeah, I know it'll get easier and better, and I'll feel more comfortable, but out of the gates, it is a little intimidating, but that's okay.
When you realize that you really can help them to stay in private practice, to increase their revenue, it changes the lives of some doctors. One licensee said that the doctor she was doing the billing for, I think she was a gynecologist, and she had to give up her lease on her Mercedes because, the cash flow was so low. A year later, this licensee brought her revenue to the point where she went out and bought a Mercedes cash. So it changes the doctors' lives because they think that they're getting into medicine because they're going to make a lot of money. That's the myth of the rich doctor. And so it changes. By the way, you're going to be partners with a doctor, Dr. Vicki Rackner. I don't know if you've seen any of our webinars with her.
That's awesome. We think that's great.
Yeah, she's been with us now, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. When I first ran across her, she was helping financial advisors to actually get in to speak with doctors. In other words, how to market to doctors. And I said, you know what, I think you could probably help our licensees. So we basically got into partnership together. She does her own thing. Of course, she still speaks at doctors groups all over the country, and she writes books and articles and so forth. But on the side, she's helping our licensees to introduce themselves to their community through an introductory letter from her. She lets you put your name on the front cover of our books, that gives you some credibility there with the doctor. Those books, you're just going to be amazed at how they will open doors wide open for you. We've had licensees give out 2 or 3 of those, and the doctors just call them up and say, hey, I looked at the little tab that we teach you how to tab them, mark them, and highlight them. And I looked at those and I said, you know what, maybe this person really can help me. Can you come talk to me? And they'll meet with them on Saturday morning, when there's no patients there, or after hours, whatever it takes, to get introduced to the client. and they just love the fact that we can actually take over, solve their problems, and of course they're trusting that we do what we say we're going to do until they see it. But once they see the actual cash flow change in their office, they just can't believe it. So. Well, so how did you feel about the training session itself? How long did it take you to complete the training, by the way?
We did about 3 days a week in pretty much all of April, or maybe not the first week in April, but maybe the last 3 weeks in April. We did
Okay.
about 3 days a week or so. So we did it pretty quickly and condensed, but I prefer it that way. It just, you don't forget anything and it doesn't drag on too long.
I
And
agree. Yes.
there was a lot of information, but
Yeah.
it was, we preferred it that way.
It's funny how we kind of got nervous for a minute and then we're like, okay, just
And
breathe.
Cynthia was
She
wonderful.
was very
She
nice.
was really great.
I mean, you can tell she's been doing this for a long time because she has got it down.
And believes in it, and she's phenomenal.
Yeah, she does a good job. So.
Yeah, thank you. You know, me and my staff, of course, could teach this, but it would be just book knowledge at this point because I haven't been out there in the medical field. We don't do medical billing as a company because we don't want to compete with you. All we do is support you. And so I've just decided at one point, we need people who are actually in the business, who've gone through our training, who are using our methods and our system to teach other people. So if you pay people enough money, they'll do that.
Right, she did it. She did a great job.
So if one of you somewhere down the line want to do some teaching for us, then we're always open for that. We use our own licensees for that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
interesting. So.
Were there any unanswered questions that you've thought about since the training completed?
I don't think so. I mean, the wealth of information and resources, and granted, we'll have to go back to it, I think, often to recall it and remember it and go over it. But
Sure.
It was pretty thorough, in my opinion. Just the recall of it might take us a little bit of time to go back and, we look at it, but it seemed pretty thorough.
Wendy, what about you? Was there anything that you wish that she could have covered that we didn't?
I don't think so. I think it was pretty good. A little overwhelming because it does come at you pretty quickly. But
Yeah.
I think once we go through it, and for us, we can role play with each other and kind of get through a script a little bit so we get more comfortable. Yeah, the only, like she said, the only thing that I'm concerned about is that first contact where we kind of just introduce ourselves but want to leave the information. And then, you know what I mean? I think that's going to be the hardest part as well. Just getting your foot in the door, that initial, how to approach that. But I think we're just going to have to do it, and then we'll figure out what works.
Anyway, well, okay. So have you talked to our support team, Tim Warren?
He's next. He's at 12:30 today. 12 or
Oh,
12.
good.
He's
Yeah.
right after this. So
Yeah.
yes.
Good.
Yes.
Well, we'd like for you to hear from him because Tim is another licensee out in Alabama. He's very knowledgeable. Him and his wife have built a very big business. So do you feel like you have the tools that you need to make this business work? Is there anything that we feel like you may be lacking that we could provide for you?
Not at this time. I think we'll know more when we do our first, the first go around is going to be obviously the toughest and the biggest learning curve. But I think that's where we'll see where our gaps are, or where we might need a little more support. But it seems pretty thorough at this point.
Any prospects that you have in mind already?
Oh yeah, we have a few in mind. We're still waiting for our website to be completed. And we wanted to do these other steps that are in the recommended plan of action, and then get going. But I want to make our LLC is still being formed. Our bank account isn't opened yet because we don't have the tax ID number. So we kind of want to wait till that's all finished, and in the meantime we'll keep learning and reviewing and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Then we'll order, we're gonna do that order books and, the all the stuff we need
Flyers
to
or
work,
whatever.
but we're just waiting for the website and LLC. And we gave them the information last week, a week ago, so
It should be soon.
It
It
should
should
be
be really soon.
yeah. We're not
Good.
wasting any time.
As long as you're doing something every day, that's all that counts.
Yes.
One step at a time. Our goal as a company is to help you get your first client. That's all we are going to focus on. Don't think about how many clients you need to make a living or anything like that. Let's just get that first one, because if you do a good
Right.
job for that first one, believe me, within 2 or 3 months, you could have referrals already coming in from that doctor. They know other doctors, and if you're doing a good job for them and they see the difference in their revenue, they'll tell other doctors just automatically.
Yes.
I've actually had licensees call us up and say, help, what do I do? I've got all the clients I want. I'm working all the hours I want to work. I don't want to hire anybody else. What do I do? This doctor wants me to do their billing. Well, you just happen to be a part of a nationwide network. We have other licensees that are using the very same system that can do the billing for you, split the fees in some way, and you don't do anything. You just manage it. You're still an interface between you and the doctor, but you've got this licensee doing the work for you, and you're still making something. Maybe you don't make $4,000 a month, but you make $2,000.
Cynthia was saying she wants to pass it on to her kids, so she's building it for, the next generation. So, and
I don't even.
We've got a couple daughters that maybe are kind of in the similar, who could maybe do this once we want to be done. So, yeah, we think it's great all around.
Yeah, the
Good.
end result, you keep clients and they're residual, and they're, if you do a good job and service them well, they stick around. And if you are, making the revenue grow, I don't know why they would leave you. And it's just, the client base, if you can keep your clients going, you have a nice business at the end of 10 years.
Yeah.
The only way you lose a client is to screw up really, really bad.
Really, really bad.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That doesn't, we've never heard of that happening, but we have heard of licensees saying that they lost a client because the doctor died of a heart attack and didn't have it set up to where he passed it on to another doctor.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if
or,
you
they retire. They don't work
Yeah.
forever. So.
Sure. Well, if you get his revenue to a certain point, why would they quit you? It doesn't make any sense. They're not going to change to another biller that comes along and says, you can do it.
Switch all that stuff over for them. I can see,
Yeah.
if it's working, if it's not broken, why fix it? So
That's right. That's the way they look at it, and they don't want to touch it if it's, and especially if they had their own staff doing the billing. At one point, if they've had their own staff doing it, that staff has no motivation, really, right, Wendy, to bring any more money. The doctor's driving a fancy car. I'm driving a Prius. Why would I help him bring in more money?
Right.
That's the way they look at it. Well, I see
Right.
one of your helpers walking behind you there.
Oh yeah, my little dog.
Yeah.
I've been doing, oh gosh, I don't know why Adam would be calling me. He knows I'm on this call. I've had licensees doing interviews like this, and their cat or something will walk right across the desk.
It's like,
And they'll say, oh, there's my office assistant. Even Cynthia has this little, I don't know what you call it, Pekingese, or it's like a little poodle, miniature poodle. Anyway, it was asleep right on her keyboard. She took a picture of it and sent it to me. I thought it was so cute.
not getting anything done today.
All right, well, look, I'm going to wrap this up. Hey, thank you for your time. Thank you for your investment in yourselves and your own business, ladies. Any final thoughts or words of wisdom for people who are right now still looking into our opportunity?
I would say keep going forward until something personally makes you say no. It might not be for everybody, but I don't know, the things that were important to me, it fit all the criteria. So I'm excited, and I'm excited that Wendy's doing it with me. I think we're going to be a great team, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, I guess I would just second that. It's, if you're looking to do something out on your own, branching out on your own, and you want an opportunity, this is a good one. And it changes people's lives, and that's what I like about it.
We're actually, we haven't done it yet, but we plan to. We really will be helping people, and that notch of it That's what I can get behind 100%, is that I'm actually going to be helping somebody.
Yeah, you're helping doctors, you're helping the patients in their practice to continue to be
Yes.
able to go to that doctor. The doctor, there's doctors who've gone out of business during this pandemic because the cash flow just dried up. So I think we're doing a great service to the doctors in our communities just to keep them in practice, if nothing else. All right. Well, Amy, Wendy, thank you so much. We're just glad to have you on board, and you just let us know whatever we can do to help you. We're here.
All right.
Great, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
that very much.
Yeah, we're excited. A new
You're
venture.
welcome. Good. All right. Let us know what we can do to help. Bye
All
for
right.
now.
Have a great day.
Thank you.